It's currently 5 minutes to 2 in the morning on a Sunday night. Tomorrow is Monday. I have to get stuff done tomorrow, but I've just finished up. That's why I'm up so late. Not that I'm asleep at this time anyway, but I just finished up a Tony Robbins event called RPM, Rapid Planning Method, an event all around planning your time, organizing your week, designing your life, this whole thing. It's a whole productivity management system. And I wanted to quickly jump in today to talk about my learnings, and a big takeaway that I got from the event, probably the main takeaway, excuse me, I think I've got hiccups coming on, but the main takeaway is always know your outcome or always know your results. And funnily enough, that's the beginning of the RPM method. That's the R, results, right? So what is your outcome? And so before you do anything, you should have your outcome based on what they taught in the program. And so my outcome for this video is for two things. So number one, for me to refer back and go through my notes and take away the key highlights just so I can instill them deeper in my brain, right? So for my own selfish memory retention reasons. And number two, so I can convey to you what was taught at this event, and maybe you can take away some of the insights and lessons and teachings from the event and apply them to your own life. So let's get into it. As I said, the beginning, most important thing is know your outcomes, also known as know your results, right? That's the R in the RPM, Rapid Planning Method. The P is your purpose. So once you know your outcome or your result, you want to know the P, right? The RP. P is purpose. Also, you can think of it as the why. So why are you doing something? So why am I recording this video? Well, so I guess the outcome would be to go through all the material again, put it on YouTube, record it, document it. But the reason why is to help you, to help me, to go through some of my notes, maybe come up with some additional distinctions and concepts and ideas as I go through them. And lastly, the M, so we know the outcome, so the result, we know what the purpose is, we know the reason why. And also another reason for me is to practice public speaking skills or communication skills. So hopefully I'm doing a good job. And the M is the map, also known as massive action plan. So that's the actual steps you're going to take to achieve your outcome, right? So let's go through this. I'm reading from my notebook here. I took a lot of pages. You can see I went all the way up until, not that you actually care about this, but just so you know, it was a 3-day event. This is how much I wrote down. So I'm going to just give you the highlights right here. So basically, Tony started off and said, this is a system that he's used to grow his business and to grow his life, right? Which is pretty amazing that we're getting the tools from the event. He says, life management, not time management. He says, and this was a highlight, so I'm just going to go through some of the highlight. He said, leaders take responsibility to make something happen, right? Leaders take responsibility to make something happen. He said, a leader is someone who produces results. A superior leader produces superior results, right? So if you want to become a leader, you need to start generating and delivering results. If you want to be an even better leader, you need to deliver even better results. Okay, is this helpful for you? Also on the topic of leadership is, he said, a great leader solves problems, and to solve problems, you need a different system, right? So this is the system you're going to get. So a great leader solves problems. So if you're a leader, you need to say, or if you want to be a leader, you need to say, I am a problem solver, right? And another cool note is, he said, become a leader of your life. A lot of good takeaways. He said, focus 5% of your time on the problem, right? If you want to be a leader, and 95% of your time on the solution, okay? So activity without purpose is the drain to your passion. Activity without purpose is the drain to your passion. I think that's super important. Focus on outcomes instead of activity, right? So again, going back to the outcomes, what is it that you want? Focus on that instead of focusing on activity. Because oftentimes we do so much activity, but we're not directed with an outcome we want, And so we don't really get results, right? We're wasting time very much, which again goes back to focus on the outcome. So this is cool as well. A great leader creates other great leaders, right? So that means you got to train and coach and encourage and uplift, right? Be the rising tide that lifts all boats. That's what leadership is about. It's about creating other leaders. Complexity is the enemy of execution. You may have heard that before. It's repetition that makes you a master. And he said it takes 6 months to make a lifestyle change. Something super cool is he said you get rewarded in public for what you do in private. And he gave an example of Steph Curry. Do you know how many basketball shots he takes a day when he's not in the game? 500. Do you know how many Jordan took a day? 1,000. So he showed the numbers. You multiply that over a week. Curry's taking 3,500 shots a week. And Jordan, I think he did it 6 days a week, so he took 6,000 shots a week. And then he multiplied that. Well, this is that many a month, and this is that many a year. And it basically said over his career, he took like 3.5 million practice shots and only 3,500 shots in games. So he says, don't practice your shot in the game. He said, practice it in practice time, right? Repetition is the mother of skill. It's repetition that makes you a master. So another cool thing, he said, I don't serve time, time serves me. I don't serve time, time serves me. That's a mantra, cool saying. Time is an emotion. Okay, and then he asked, what would you do with an extra 10 hours in your week? He said, multitasking takes 40% of your time. So this was super cool. So much time, so little to do. You can say that to yourself. Say it to yourself now. So much time, so little to do. So much time, so little to do, right? Get in your head, you're dead. Classic Tony saying. New results require new actions. We don't experience life. We experience the life we focus on, right? So change your focus, change your life. Whatever you focus on is what you experience. Leaders are those that ask different questions, right? Thinking is the process of asking and answering questions. If you want to think better, ask better questions. So this was super cool. He talked a lot about questions. So he was saying, what are thoughts? Thoughts are essentially questions and answers that you play in your mind, right? That you ask yourself in the mind. So he said, if you want to think better, you got to ask better questions. So this is the 3 questions of RPM. And by the way, the biggest takeaway, one of the biggest takeaways I got is ask better questions, right? So 3 questions of RPM. What do I really want, right? What is your outcome? That's the results. Second, what is my purpose? That's the purpose, that's the why. And lastly, what are the specific actions I need to take to achieve this result? That's the map. So he says here, a problem is an unanswered question. So whenever you have a problem, turn it into a question. So for example, what's a problem people have? People want to lose weight. So people say to themselves, I can't lose weight, I've tried everything. But instead he said, ask a better question, right? A problem is an unanswered question. So turn your problem into a question. So you might turn your question into, how can I lose weight? Or ask better questions, right? Which is a big takeaway of the event. It might say, what can I do to easily lose weight? Or how can I ensure I lose weight no matter what, right? I can't fail. And then you're going to come up with better answers. So questions are the answer. Better questions equal better answers. This is classic Tony. Words equal emotions, emotion and meaning. Sorry, words equal meaning, meaning equal emotions, and emotions equal the quality of your life. So I'm sure you can agree that when you have better emotions, you have a better quality of life, right? And he's saying words create emotions because words create meaning. So he says the words you attach to your experience become your experience. So if you go to this Tony Robbins event and you say to yourself, it was a good event, well, looking back on it in the future, you will remember it as being a good event and you'll feel it as a good event. But if you come back from the event and you're like, it was an outstanding event, right? Using the word outstanding, you can even hear the way I say it, comes across a lot more passionately. You will have a better experience, right? You'll remember the event as being outstanding. And he said, words juice up your life. So you want to use words that can juice up your life. So instead of saying, I have to go to the gym, you can give yourself the role, change your words to say, I am a Greek god. And you're going to have, that's juiced up language. You're going to have different energy when it comes to going to the gym, right? Sometimes it's not your plan. That's the problem. It's the words. So sometimes it's not your plan that's the problem. It's the words. So what this means is people have a plan. They're like, I need to go to the gym, but they're not using exciting words. They're using words like need to, right? If you change that to I get to go to the gym, that's an even more compelling reason. Or how about I get to go to the gym and sculpt my body like a Greek god, right? That's much more persuasive language to yourself. More likely to go to the gym if you do that. So it's time to upgrade your words. And I think that's a very important thing. So big takeaways for me is ask better questions and use better words. So I'm going to write that down as key takeaways. Let me do this quickly live with you. Because after all, it's about taking action now. Ask better questions. Use better words. I already wrote that down. Use words to juice up your life. Sometimes it's not your plan that's the problem, it's the words. Good. So, by the way, we're not even through day one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this up into a few different videos. Do it one day at a time. So words juice up your life. Sometimes it's not your plan that's the problem, it's the words you're using. It's time to upgrade your words. So yeah, I'm not going to talk about this one. It's not super relevant. But Tony, actually, I'll just talk about it anyway. Tony was saying he had a business. He got invited to speak at, there's this guy, I need to look up his name, but he, blew up MTV, and then he blew up another company, and then he went to work at Century 21, the real estate company, and helped them blow it up. And he invited Tony to speak, and Tony said his speaking fee at the time was $250,000. And they said their budget's $180,000. So he said, you know what, I'll come speak for you for free. I know you're a marketing genius. I want you to give me some lessons, some business lessons. So Tony goes, he does the event. And then in the guy's session with Tony, he says, Tony, I want to let you know that the first lesson for you is the value you provided, even if we paid you $250,000, your price is too cheap. And he was saying, find businesses you can bring your skills to and take it to the next level, right? So he was basically saying partner with big businesses, because he was saying it takes 7 years to get started, right? He grew Six Flags. It takes 7 years to get something really started and up and running. So you're saying find companies that already have momentum and bring your skills to the table, and instead of, there's only so many 7-year cycles, he said. So what makes someone a leader is they bring certainty to uncertain situations. Great leaders start with what and why. So what I need to do, there's this concept in planning your time is you write down, you capture everything, and then you group it into categories. So it's called chunking. So I should chunk these notes into different things, such as leadership, right? So I'm going to add that to my to-do. So give me 1 second. It's going to be chunk my notes from the event, right? I'm putting it on my capture list. All right, it's super important to have a capture list. So much time, so little to do. I'll continue talking to you from here. Let me just write this down so you can see me doing this in real life. Chunk notes from Tony Robbins RPM event, e.g. leadership. Cool. There we go. And that's a takeaway for me right there. You're getting this in real time. So let's finish this up. Let's finish up day one. Great leaders start with what and why. Perfect is the lowest standard possible. what don't you like to do that you could leverage? So that was coming up with a list of things you don't like to do that you could outsource, right? So take social media off your phone and put it somewhere you will consciously use it, such as another phone. Don't confuse movement for activity. That'll stop you from getting the results you want. Then they gave this cool story of the fly on a urinal. Basically, one of the one of the airports in the US was always messy and dirty, and they just, especially the male bathroom, and they couldn't get it clean. So they hired people from the Netherlands that ran one of the cleanest airports in the world. I think it's Schiphol Airport. And one of the things they did is they put a fly on the in the bathroom. So when guys went to pee, they were aiming for the fly. So it says, have a target. And that helped clean up the airport, funnily enough. So have a target. That's a main takeaway, which is have an outcome, really. Have a target. Have a result. And then you had to categorize the different areas of your life to put tasks under each. So the 4 master steps of planning is to capture your ideas, wants, and needs. 2 is to create an RPM plan, right? Results, purpose, massive action plan. Commit to it and schedule it. And then complete, achieve, and celebrate. And that's the end of day 1. So I think that's where we'll leave it. We can record day 2 and 3 if this has been helpful. But it's definitely been helpful for me. Let me see how much more I have to go. Yeah, I've got quite a lot. So we can break this up. We can definitely break this up. There's some good stuff still to come. So you're going to want to subscribe and stay tuned for future videos. Because if you thought that was helpful, just wait till you see what's on day 2 and then wait until you see what's on day 3. So thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed that. For me, did I get my outcome? Again, just checked if you got your outcome. My outcome was achieved. To go through my notes, to say it to the camera, to practice my public speaking, and most importantly, to further ingrain some of the messages from the weekend into my mind. And hopefully that translates to my life. So see you on the next one.